arson, murder. It's going on all over this territory. Immigrants crossing our borders are being attacked and slaughtered. My stages are being held up almost every run. No man's life or property is safe, and not a hand is being raised to put a stop to it.
It can't be stopped. Not as long as we have no organized law enforcement in this territory. That's why my paper's been hammering on the benefit statehood would bring us.
Well, that's your answer. I'm marshal here, but my authority ends at the edge of town. There's no one to fight the outlaws outside the township, unless he's got nerve enough to do it on his own hook, like the Black Whip.
Well, maybe the Black Whip works outside the law, but he sure works for it. Why, he's saved plenty of settlers and ranchers from outlaw attacks.
That's true, but we can't depend on one masked man to fight this reign of terror. We've got to find other ways.
I have found another way. That's why I called this meeting. The outlaws went too far when they stole federal funds from my bank. I telegraphed Washington, and there's a federal commissioner on his way here to take charge of things until we hold the statehood election.
What's wrong, Hammond?
Oh, everything. Federal commissioner's coming in this afternoon to investigate that bank job and to take charge of this district until the election.
What are we going to do?
What we're not going to do is lose the big stakes that we've been playing for. It's up to you to see that that commissioner never reaches Crescent City.
Why, he's a government man.
No matter who he is, he can't come in here and smash what I've built up. We organized to take what we wanted from stages, wagon trains, and settlers. We're running this territory to suit ourselves, and we can keep it that way if we keep statehood out.
All right. I reckon we can take care of the commissioner. Come on, Harris.
Now, wait a minute. There's just one complication. The Meredith girl is driving the commissioner in from the railroad, and she'll be a witness to what happens.
That's right. I guess we'll have to...
No. Capture her. We'll hold her prisoner and force her brother to close down his newspaper. That'll stop his crusading for statehood. You got all the aces up your sleeve. Take enough men with you and be sure of the job.
All right. I reckon we can take care of just one man and a girl.
I've heard a lot about this Black Whip. Who is he?
He's kept his identity a secret so far.
I wonder why he doesn't come into the open and declare himself.
Probably because he's just one man against so many outlaws. If they knew who he was, his life wouldn't be worth a cent.
That's right.
I expected to find somebody in trouble when I picked up this nut down the road away.
Well, we're certainly glad to see you, sir. And this. Oh, do you belong in these parts?
No. I'm a surveying engineer for the Transcontinental Railroad. My name is Dick Gordon.
Glad to know you, Mr. Gordon. My name is James Bradley, Special Commissioner for the government. And this is Miss Barbara Meredith of Crescent City.
How do you do?
I'll get the wheel.
You saved us a lot of trouble, Mr. Gordon, and we're grateful.
I'm glad I happened along. I guess we'd better get that wheel on. I'll get him into your rig.
No, wait.
I've got to tell you.
Don't try to talk. We'll get you to a doctor right away, Mr. Bradley.
It's too late. Listen to me. Vic Gordon is one of my undercover agents. Vic, you'll have to carry on alone.
Not alone. My brother will help. But there must be something I can do.
There is, Barbara. I appoint you Vic's deputy. I can't give either of you written authority, but he will be your witness and you his. Stamp out these evils. Bring Idaho into the Union.
Randy! 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 Randy!
Herald editor murdered. Found dead at ranch. An unknown murderer last night ended the brilliant career of Randolph Meredith, owner and publisher of this newspaper. Although there was no clue to the actual killing, the crime was undoubtedly instigated by the lawless element that has resented Meredith's crusade for statehood. His sister, Miss Barbara Meredith, will take charge of the paper and continue the fight.
Any of your men do the job?
None that I know of.
Meredith made plenty of enemies with that paper.
Yes, and one of them did us the favor of removing him.
Yeah, but if that girl runs it, the newspaper will still be in our hair plenty.
No, she's asking for trouble. I tried to talk her out of it and tell her how dangerous it was. But she's full of big, noble ideas. She's even going to improve the plant. New presses and equipment coming in this afternoon.
That's mighty interesting. How are they coming in?
By wagon train from the railroad terminal?
You want me to take care of them?
Yes. We must do a thorough job of this. Before you go, I want you to wreck that Herald office down to the last stick of type.
That'll be a pleasure. Where's Miss Meredith?
Out at the ranch. Yep. What can I do for you?
Just get your hands up, quick.
What is this? I've got nervous
Shut
indigestion.
your trap and get over.
Now,
Get a rope.
now, wait a minute. I've got to take a pill.
Howdy. You in charge here?
Yeah. What do you want?
I'm Vic Gordon, surveyor for the Transcontinental Railroad. I want to run an ad for some laborers.
You'll have to come back when Miss Meredith's here. She handles the ad stuff.
All right. Tell her I was here, will you? Drop it. Get over there. Drop your gun.
Hello? Yes, 10 Point.
The bandits wrecked the office, Miss Barbara. Yep, two big thugs. They're going to grab our new presses. I put up an awful battle. And then Vic Gordon drove the...
Calm down, 10 Point. Never mind the rest of the story. What about the new press?
They've got men waiting on the road at Triangle Rocks to grab the freight wagon.
I'll try to stop them.
Somebody's after him. We can pot that pigeon before he knows we're here.
Don't shoot him, rope him.
He's out cold. What do you want him alive for?
He's cut in on our play twice now, and I want to find out what his game is. He's been acting mighty curious. Here comes the wagon with the press. We'll take Gordon to the shack. You bring along the horses.
This meeting has been called at the request of Mr. Gordon, surveyor for the Transcontinental Railway Company. He's already run up against some of the problems that confront us in dealing with these outlaws. And he has a plan which he hopes will uncover their leader and break up the band. I'm sure we'll welcome any idea he suggests.
You bet we will.
We'll be mighty glad to listen.
Let's have it, Gordon.
Thank you, gentlemen. Whoever's behind these attacks obviously doesn't want this territory to become a state. He must be caught. If the law can't reach him, perhaps money will.
You mean buy him off?
No. I suggest we raise a large fund and offer reward to anyone who will tell us who he is.
How do we raise this fund?
By asking ranchers, businessmen, and citizens to contribute every cent they can.
Well, that sounds good to me.
Well, I'll put in all I can.
You can count on me.
Well, I'm with you 100%. Since Gordon thought of this plan, I propose that he take full charge in collecting this fund.
Good enough.
Suits me. He's elected.
It's all in your hands, Gordon.
Thank you.
$10,000 reward offered for exposure of outlaw leader. This large sum has been pledged to Mr. Gordon of the Transcontinental Railway. It'll be paid to anyone giving information that results in exposing the leader of the outlaws.
10,000's a lot of dough.
Yeah, it's enough to tempt some of our men to talk out of turn.
We could stop the whole business by knocking Gordon off before he collects the money.
No, he'll have it all collected by tonight.
Well, then how?
I don't know yet. You stick around. I'll figure out something by then.
75, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100. The total is correct, Gordon. $10,000. You've done a fine job. I hope this will run the rascals to earth. Sure to tempt some of them to talk, eh, Hammond?
Well, I hope so.
Is it too late to put the money in your bank?
Yes, the time locks have been set for the night. But I'm sure Hammond wouldn't mind keeping it in his vault till morning.
No, I'll be glad to.
Well, I'm glad that's been taken care of. See you later, gentlemen.
Good night, Walsh. There you are.
How much longer do you expect to stay here, Mr. Hammond?
Well, I don't know. About an hour or so. Why?
I'd like to keep an eye on the place tonight.
You think that's necessary?
Well, I feel sort of responsible for that money.
I see. All right.
I promised Miss Meredith I'd give her a list of the contributors and the amounts they gave. I'll be back before you close so I can stand guard. All right with you?
Sure thing. You run along. I'll be here when you get back.
Thanks.
Hello? For you, Vic.
Hello? Speaking. Yeah? What? Repeat that. Yes, I'll be there. Who is this? Looks like our scheme has worked. Someone after the reward wants me to meet him right away at Council Rock.
It may be a trap to get the money.
I don't think so. He didn't ask for it in advance, and I'm not taking it along.
I think you'd better take a witness.
No. He said I was to come out alone or he wouldn't talk. I'll meet him there, and then we'll act on his information. I'd better be going.
Good luck.
Thanks. So long.
Now what?
I think Vic's walking into a trap.
Oh, Miss Barbara, you ain't going out there, are you?
Yes. He may need help.
I'm Vic Gordon. Are you the man who telephoned me?
Yes, where's the money?
You didn't ask me to bring the money. You'll get it when you name the outlaw leader.
That won't be necessary. We know the money is in Hammond's vault, and we'll have it before morning. This is just a trick to get you out of the way.
When you get the money, set the explosion so it'll blow that vault open. You know, this has got to look like the real thing. So no one will suspect me.
Those in this. Set the explosion. Hold it.
Turn around. Now march.
You ain't going any place, mister. Drop that gun.
Light that fuse.
Marshal, the thieves are getting away.
What's this all about?
We heard an explosion, and we caught Gordon here trying to run away.
I was after the men who blew that safe.
Let's get this straight. I was knocked on the head. $10,000 was taken from the vault. You were supposed to come back here and guard that money. Now, why didn't you?
I was following a clue. I got a telephone call from a man who said he had information about the leader of the outlaws.
Can you prove that?
Yes, I have witnesses. Miss Meredith and 10 Point Jackson were there when the call came.
They didn't hear the other end of that conversation. That phone call could have been part of your alibi, and the man who made it could be on his way to the border right now with the money.
That's right.
Sure he could.
Gordon, one of the men that attacked you?
Oh, I don't know. They sneaked up behind me, told me not to turn around, and hit me on the head.
Oh, one of them spoke to you, huh? Mm-hmm. Could it have been Gordon's voice?
Well, as a matter of fact, I thought it was Gordon. Thought it was sort of a joke.
I had the money in my hand this afternoon. If I wanted to steal it, I wouldn't have brought it back here.
That's just what a smart crook would do. You thought that was the best way for you to get away with it. I tell you,
Better save that for your trial, Gordon. You're under arrest. Come on. Good morning, Miss Meredith.
Good morning. May I speak with Mr. Gordon alone?
Well, I reckon it's legal for the press to interview a prisoner. I'll be right outside.
Vic, there must be some way to clear you of this ridiculous charge.
It may be ridiculous, Barbara, but the evidence is all against me.
But you could clear up everything by explaining that you're a government agent.
If I did that, my usefulness would be over.
If there were only some way we could prove that you were led into a trap by that mysterious telephone call.
The Black Whip helped me escape from that trap. Maybe he'd back my story if he'd read it in your paper.
I'll print it at once.
Sure glad you came, Miss Barbara. Yep, there's a heap of trouble brewing.
What's the matter, 10 Point?
Well, there's a bunch of men down at the saloon organizing to break into the jail and get Vic Gordon.
We've got to do something to stop them.
No, too many of them, and they ain't aiming to be stopped by anyone.
The return of that money could stop them. It's a slim chance. But I'm going to ride out on the trail where I lost track of the bandits last night. I may find a clue that will lead me to them.
Now, look, Miss Barbara, you hadn't ought to go get mixed up in this.
We can't take chances on Gordon coming to trial. Railway attorneys will defend him and probably get him off, so I had Wagner bring in some of his men to take care of him.
I wish I could help him.
No, you better get out of town. You're too well known around here.
What about the reward money?
Well, have Harris take it to Capital City for safekeeping until this thing blows over.
Right.
One way to deal with crooks like Gordon, and it's up to us to do it.
That's right, son. That's right.
He got us to donate our money for the reward, and then stole it. Well, are we going to stand by and let him get away with that?
No, we ain't.
We'll teach these outlaws a lesson.
Well, it's about time something was done.
Right.
Wagner and his men will take care of that Gordon, all right.
Wanger's men are going to take Gordon out of jail. Looks like we'll have no more trouble with him. What do we do next?
The boss wants you to take the reward money over to Capital City right away.
Right.
Well, here it is. I'll be on my way.
Yeah.
Open that door! Take it easy, man. Gordon deserves a fair trial. Looks like this bunch means business, Vic. Come on, batter down the door. Here it comes. You better open up in there. That'll do it. There you are. Come on. Give it to her. Put some weight on her now. Attaboy. Hit him. You've got to listen. Stop. You've got to listen to me. You're going against all law and order. Whatever the charges are against this man, he deserves a fair trial.
We'll give him what he deserves, Hammond. And it'll be a warning to all crooks to keep out of this territory. Bring him along, men.
You're making a big mistake, man.
You got about 1 minute left to say where you hid that money you stole.
I told you I didn't steal it.
Oh, yeah?
Black whip. say? Here's the stolen money and one of the men who took it. He can probably tell you who is behind him and his gang. And it's signed the Black Whip.
The Black Whip is right. This man is one of the bunch that attacked my wagon train in Eagle Pass.
What?
Yes. Come on. We'll take care of him right now.
Well, what are we waiting for?
Here, take it easy. We've had enough mob rule around here for one day.
He's right. I told you men you were making a mistake. Now, let's not make another. We'll turn this man over to the marshal.
I'm with you there. I guess that's the ticket.
Bring him along.
Black Whip captures bandit. Vic Gordon cleared of robbery charges. In his spectacular manner, the Black Whip recovered a $10,000 citizens fund and captured the bandit who stole it. What worries me, Marshal, is the story that Barbara printed. It says that on Friday you're taking Harris to Capital City, where he'll be tried by a federal judge.
Well, that's the truth. What's wrong about it?
We're pretty sure that Harris belongs to the organized gang that's trying to keep Idaho from becoming a state.
And now that they know your plans, they'll try to rescue Harris when you leave town with him.
Well, very likely. But I'll probably take along a deputy.
That won't help much if they attack in force. The best way would be to throw them completely off the track.
You got some kind of an idea?
Yes. Deputize me and turn Harris over to me tonight. I'll get him to the Glenville relay station and catch the Capital City stagecoach tomorrow morning. In the meantime, don't let anybody talk to him.
That sounds like a good scheme. I stay here in town. Everybody will think the prisoner's still here in jail. All right, I'll do it. I'll fix you up some papers to take along.
Good. I'll pick them up tonight when I take Harris out. Come on, Barbara.
This is sort of coming down in the world, isn't it?
What is?
I mean, for a federal undercover agent to be deputized by a small-town marshal.
I hadn't thought of that. But I can't very well tell them who I am till after the election for statehood.
Hey, Marshal.
Yeah?
Will you do something for me?
That all depends.
I won't be needing this watch where I'm going. That's all I got left to send my wife. Will you ship it to her by express?
All right. What's her address?
Mrs. Ed Harris, Laramie, Wyoming.
Mrs. Ed Harris, Laramie, Wyoming. When did the marshal bring this in?
Just before we closed last night. He said Harris wanted it sent by express.
There's something funny about this.
What's funny about Harris sending something to his wife?
Just this. Harris hasn't got a wife, never had one. He must be trying to send a message to us from jail.
I don't see why. He knows we'll never let the marshal get to Capital City with him. His watch and chain. Is that all that's in there?
Yes. Now, what was he up to? Oh, why, of course. They're sneaking me out of jail tonight to catch the Capital City stage at the Glenville relay station in the morning.
They've crossed us up.
Not yet, they haven't. That stage doesn't leave the relay station for an hour. You and your men can overtake it if you ride fast.
I'll make it.
City Herald.
10 Point, you'll have to go to press without me. I just saw Baxter and his men heading for the stage road. I'm afraid they found out about Harris.
Then you'd better stay away from there, Miss Barbara. Miss Barbara. All right, don't listen to me. But you get into some serious trouble. And it's mighty hard on my nerves, I can tell you.
Take his gun and horse.
The Black Whip. We'll get him this time.
What do you know? The Meredith Ranch. I wonder.
So do I. It's strange how we lost the Black Whip so close to this place.
Maybe he's hiding at the ranch.
But how could he get in there without us seeing him? You know, maybe we better look into this. The girl's always printing stuff about him in her paper. Maybe she knows who he is and where he's hiding out.
Yeah.
Hello, 10 Point.
Howdy, Vic.
Where's Barbara?
Still at the ranch, I reckon.
I have something important to tell her. Call her on the telephone, will you?
What do you want?
Plenty, sister. Where's the Black Whip?
What makes you think I know?
I'm asking the questions. Where is he and who is he?
Someone playing a lone hand against you cutthroats who are trying to prevent Idaho from becoming a state.
Never mind the 4th of July speech. You know what I mean. What's his name?
If I knew, I wouldn't tell you.
You better spill it off.
Hold it.
Heard from Barbara yet?
Nope. I've been ringing the ranch every 5 minutes since you left.
And I've checked every place in town she could possibly be. Nobody's seen her. I'm going to the ranch.
Hello?
This is Barbara.
Where are you? Vic's here, and I've been plenty worried.
Never mind. Take this down and print it in today's edition. Ready? Appeal to the Black Whip. Am a prisoner and will be released at once. If you come to Tower Rock, look for arrows drawn on rocks to point out rest of way. It's your life or mine. Signed, Barbara Meredith. That's all, except print that on the front page in octavum verbum type. Get that?
That's enough. We better hitch a team to the hay wagon so we can take her to the mine in comfort and well hidden. We won't be gone long enough for you to get lonesome.
No, it don't make sense.
Why doesn't it?
Because it's addressed to the Black Whip, and nobody knows who he is.
Didn't Barbara say anything else?
No. Only to put it in the front page and print it on with octavum verbum type. We ain't got the octavum verbum type. In fact, there's never heard of any by that name. Barbara must have meant something else.
She does mean something else. She's trying to tell us something. Octavum verbum is Latin. It means eighth word. Maybe she wants us to read every eighth word. Let's try it. At. Look. Out. Mine.
That lookout line. That's it. That's what she meant. She's a prisoner at Lookout Mine. No. That old mine's been closed for over a year. Nobody ever goes near it.
Well, there's somebody there now. How do I get to it?
It's about 5 miles east of the town at the foot of Lookout Peak. But you better be careful. If they see you coming, Barbara's life won't be worth a plug nickel.
Don't worry, old-timer. They won't see me.
She's gone.
I didn't see a sign of her.
She must have headed for town.
Yeah, and she knows our hideout's in the Lookout Mine. She'll probably send a posse out there, and they'll grab the boys. Better ride out and warn them. What are you doing? Playing games?
You can call it that. Steady. Get over by them.
I'll shoot. Up with him. Now, Mr. Black Whip, take off that mask. Take it off, or...
Wait a minute! I expected to find you at Lookout 9. We decoded your message and I hurried out there.
That's where I'd be if the Black Whip hadn't rescued me on the way.
And he got to the mine in time to save my life. It's remarkable how he always turns up at the right time.
This time it can be explained. Some of it, anyway. After he released me, he probably followed the outlaws to the mine.
That must be it. But I'm still worried about you, Barbara.
Why?
Because you're in danger as long as these outlaws think you know who the Black Whip is.
They're probably just desperate and striking out in the dark. They might have tried the same thing on you or the marshal. Even on 10 Point.
They'd better not. 10 Point is so worried about you, he's down to his last bottle of jitter tonic.
Poor 10 Point. I'd better ride in and relieve his mind. I'll have to send someone out to fix the phone anyway.
I'll go along and do a little guard duty.
Howdy, Miss Barbie. Mighty good to see you.
Thank you, Zeke. Oh, I'd like you to meet Vic Gordon. Vic, this is Zeke Hayden.
Glad to know you, Zeke.
That makes it unanimous. They tell me you're nigh on to as good a newsprint man as your brother was.
Oh, I'll never be that good, I'm afraid. But I manage somehow. How about you, Zeke? Any luck?
Yep, I think I've made me a strike after all these years.
Oh, Zeke, I'm so glad for you.
Congratulations. Isn't this a story for the Herald, Miss Editor?
It certainly is. If Zeke doesn't mind my printing it. Why, the news of a gold strike will spread like wildfire. It'll bring droves of settlers to vote Idaho into statehood.
That's what I was figuring, but I couldn't say it's fancy.
Maybe it wouldn't be wise to mention Zeke's name or the location of the strike.
I defy anyone to find the location of my strike. I took care of that.
That's good, Zeke, but Vic's right. We won't mention any names or places yet. Isn't it dangerous to carry around evidence of the strike?
Maybe, but I got to have it assayed. I'm sending this to Capital City by stage.
We're going into town. We could take it into the stage office for you.
Thanks. That'll save me a trip.
So long, Zeke. Take care of yourself.
Bye.
Brooks Assay Company, Capital City. Shipped by Zeke Hayden. This might explain that mysterious gold strike.
Gold strike? Where?
There's a bulletin about it over in the newspaper office. That's mighty high-grade ore. Looks like old Zeke really has made a strike.
When this news gets around, we'll be swamped with settlers.
Yes, and every one a voter for statehood. We've got to stop Hayden before he gives any more news to that paper. That'll check the gold rush. But first I want to find out where this strike is.
It must be near his camp.
Well, not necessarily. Might be anywhere within 20 miles of it. Tell Baxter and Harris to find out. Then finish him off. And tell them also not to bungle this one, or there'll be some notices in the paper they won't be reading.
Yes, sir.
Have you seen the paper, Vic?
Well, you can read it over the shoulders of everybody in town.
Yep. Them shoulder readers is what's cramping our circulation.
I'm riding out to the ranch, Vic. How would you like a nice home-cooked dinner as payment for being my bodyguard?
Well, I can't think of a single objection.
Good. We can stop by Zeke's camp on the way and give him a copy of the paper.
Couldn't you sell a copy for once?
Now you're going to tell us where your gold strike is.
What do you mean?
You know what I mean. You struck gold someplace, and I want to know the location of your strike.
I ain't struck nothing. Somebody's been bamboozling you.
Quit stalling. We know all about the ore shipments you've been making.
Get that poker. We'll make him talk. Take his boot off.
Hey, Baxter.
Yeah.
Maybe this is what we're looking for.
That sounds like trouble at Zeke's camp.
Sit down, Zeke.
Is he hurt bad, Vic?
We ought to take him to a doctor.
I don't feel up to going that far.
It might be better not to move him. I'll drive to the ranch and telephone for a doctor.
Fine, Barbara. I'll stay here and do what I can for Zeke.
So that's where the claim is. Hammond will be glad to hear this.
But not if the old man's still alive. We can't get him with Gordon there.
We're not so far from Hammond's old mine. We'll get a keg of powder and roll it off that cliff above Zeke's camp. Take care of him and Gordon, too.
Hello?
Hello, 10 Point. This is Barbara. Zeke Hayden's been shot. Get a hold of Dr. Shaw and have him go right out to Zeke's camp.
All right. But where are you now, Miss Barbara?
At the ranch, but I'm going back to the camp in case there's more trouble.
Yep. Same old story. Trouble for you, worry for me.
Better lie down a while, Zeke.
Thanks. I can manage now. You better keep your eyes open.
You're right, Zeke. I'll go up on that cliff and take a look around.
Here comes Gordon.
yourself by jumping inside there with me. Who touched off that explosion?
The same men who attacked you before. Your gold mine isn't a secret any longer, Zeke. The sooner you get your claim filed, the better.
Big gold strike at Harper's Creek. Many new settlers arriving. In order to keep outlaws from attacking these newcomers, our citizens are organizing a mounted patrol. Members of this patrol will assemble in town this afternoon, following which they will ride out to meet a wagon train reported arriving from Kansas. This gold strike will bring people in here by the thousands. Settlers whose votes are sure to be for statehood. If we don't find a way to stop them, we're going to lose control of this territory.
It ain't so easy to stop a gold rush.
We can only destroy that first wagon train that's coming in. That would discourage others from following.
Sure it would, but what about the posse that's riding out to bring the wagons in? We can't buck them.
They haven't got to stop yet, Baxter. That posse is going to use the marshal's office for headquarters. Now, here's what I want you to do. You select one of your best men, a man you can depend upon.
Every able-bodied man in town is ready to ride with us to meet the wagon train.
Well, I'm mighty proud of the spirit Crescent City is showing.
It's wonderful. And Vic Gordon is out organizing a second patrol among the ranchers. A group of riders who'll be ready in any emergency. He'll be here soon to join us.
Well, now we're getting somewhere.
Is the marshal here?
I'm the marshal. What's your trouble?
My wagon train needs help or it'll be wiped out. Here.
Now, sit down here. Now tell us what happened.
I'm with a wagon train from Kansas. They stopped just across the border to water up. Me and 3 other men rode on ahead. In Miller's Gap, we was ambushed by outlaws. I'm the only one that got through alive.
Outlaws?
An ambush.
The wagons will be coming through any time now. They've got to be saved.
Miller's Gap? That's a lot farther out than we planned on meeting them. I'll get the posse started. You stay here and take it easy till I get back.
I'll get the press set for an extra edition.
What?
How'd I sound?
Great, you almost convinced me. Well, this is perfect. The marshal and his men riding toward the Gap. Baxter and his men can be destroying those wagons in Dixie Canyon.
Maybe I'd better be on my way.
No, that'll look suspicious. You stick around until the marshal gets through questioning you. Then get out of town fast.
You bet I will.
I just saw the posse riding out. What's up?
They're going to surprise some outlaws at Miller's Gap. Get the press ready, 10 Point. I'll have a story to print when I come back.
Miss Barbara, you don't need to go out
This
there.
is one roundup I'm not going to miss.
Feeling better now?
Yeah. I was sort of tuckered out. I reckon I'd better be on my way.
Oh, stick around till the posse gets here.
I can't do that.
Why not?
Well, I want to be in on the scrap of those outlaws.
Oh, let the posse take care of them. I want you here to identify any prisoners they bring in.
I'll be back in time for that.
You're not leaving, I tell you.
You mean I can't go?
Well, you can put it any way you want. Hey, you got some special reason for leaving?
Yeah, I got a reason. Get your hands up. The reason I can't wait for that posse is that I sent them the wrong way, so those wagons could be knocked off in Dixie Canyon.
Why, you mangy coyote?
Put up your lip. Get in that cell.
In that drawer.
What happened?
Well, this man came in here with a faked-up story that sent the posse on the wrong trail. His pals are all set to attack the wagon train in Dixie Canyon.
Where's the posse heading for?
Miller's Gap.
I'll head for the wagons and warn them. You better send someone to turn the posse.
Yeah, but there ain't an able-bodied man left here. And I can't leave town.
10 Point's at the Herald office. Send him.
10 Point?
I tell you, his story was a fake. The outlaws are waiting for those wagons near Dixie Canyon.
Are you sure?
Yep, the marshal told me himself. I'm riding out to overtake the posse.
Well, then get started. I'll head for Dixie Canyon.
Here's the setup, men. As soon as the wagons come in sight, we'll attack. Force them off on that side road.
That'll drive them into the canyon.
Right. Pete and Dirk are set to blow up the canyon road, and we'll catch them like rats in a trap.
Get those horses unhitched. We'll have to roll the wagon to the edge.
Here they come.
finish him and get after the wagons.
What's the use? The men that were supposed to blow up the pass have bungled their job somehow. We can't stop that wagon train alone.
That's right. But we can square accounts with Gordon.
No, not until we get some information out of him. We'll tie him up and see what Hammond wants to do with him.
At least you got Gordon. Where is he?
We're holding him under guard in the shack at Blue Meadows. He could spill a lot of information under pressure. How do we know he's connected with the railroad? All we've got is his word for it.
That's right. We don't know who he is. May even be the Black Whip.
Oh, the Black Whip was interfering with us long before Gordon came here.
Before he came here as a representative of the railroad, yes. But he could have come earlier as the Whip.
That's impossible. Remember the day you sent us out to capture the new press that was coming in for the Herald? And we were holding Gordon a prisoner? Lay on the leather, I'll stop him. Black Whip attacked us while we had Vic Gordon a prisoner in our own hands.
All right, that checks off Gordon. Who else could be the Whip?
My only guess would be Weatherby, the town marshal. He's always making a lot of talk about not having jurisdiction outside the township. But what's to keep him from putting on a mask and...
Oh, that don't hold water either.
I don't know why not.
Well, I'm going to tell you why. When Gordon was arrested on a charge of stealing the reward money, a mob of townspeople stormed the jail.
There you are. Come on, give it to him. Put your weight on her now. Animal! Hit him! Take it easy, man. Gordon deserves a fair trial. Looks like this bunch means business, Vic.
While the marshal was lying unconscious in the jail, I was a prisoner of the Black Whip, being brought back to town with the stolen money.
You
You've got about 1 minute left to say where you hid that money you stole.
I told you I didn't steal it.
Oh, yeah?
Black whip.
What does it say? Here's the stolen money and one of the men who took it. He can probably tell you who is behind him and his gang. It's signed the Black Whip. Come on, we'll take care of him right now.
Well, what are we waiting for?
Here, take it easy.
We've had enough mob rule around here for one day.
He's right. I told you men you were making a mistake. Now let's not make another. We'll turn this man over to the marshal.
I'm with you. That's what happened. And it proves the marshal's not the Black Whip.
You're right. The marshal's not our man. We'll have to look to Miss Meredith for the answer.
You mean she's the whip?
No, but I'm dead sure she knows who he is. I have a plan that'll make her tell us.
Hello, 10 Point. Have you heard from Vic yet?
No, Miss Barbara. I talked to the folks that came in on the wagon train, but none of them had seen him after the fight.
Well, let me know at once if you hear anything. Stand where you are.
Put that gun down, sister. You ain't gonna use it. We've got Vic Gordon a prisoner.
I don't believe you.
Oh, you don't? All right. Bring him in. Don't try anything, or else he'll go out like a light. Put that gun down. Tie him up.
What do you want?
Now, that's more like it. I want you to bring the Black Whip here, now.
I wouldn't do that even if I could.
All right. Let him have it.
Wait. I'll find him. I'll have to saddle a horse.
Gordon's horse is right outside.
I don't know how long it will take me to find
Oh,
him.
yes, you do. I'll give you just 1 hour, and if you're not back then...
What's the idea in coming out here?
Oh, she gave up too easy. Maybe planning to trick us. Gordon's safe enough in there. We'll stay out here and patrol both sides of the house in case the whip's trying to surprise us.
Black Whip's inside the house.
We've discovered this much. Barbara Meredith does know who the Black Whip is, or at least she knows where to find him.
Then we better follow her next time.
After last night, the Black Whip is sure to be smart enough to figure out some way to keep in touch with her.
He's a slick one, all right.
There must be some clue. You were in the room with him. Didn't you see anything that might identify him?
All I could see was that gun he was holding. Looked as big as a cannon. If I hadn't have thrown the boot at that lamp, we'd have been goners.
Black Whip's boot. That might be a clue. Did you get the maker's name? We can trace it if you did.
I only had it in my hand a minute. I did notice, though, it seemed awfully small, no bigger than a woman's.
A woman's? Of course, it must be. How dumb I've been.
About what?
Barbara Meredith. She's the Black Whip.
She couldn't be. The Black Whip's got to be a man. He's outshot us, outrode us, and outfought us. Stopped us at every turn.
She has because she's smart. I happen to know she's a good horsewoman and a fine shot. Now, I'm convinced she's the Black Whip. We've got to get rid of her. Then you can dress one of your men up as the Black Whip and help us fight against statehood.
Why, everybody in the territory knows that horse and outfit.
That's right, so we can kill her until we find out where she hides the horse and outfit. Now, here's what you do. You go to the Meredith Ranch. When you get her, you let me know.
Yes?
This is 10 Point. Vic just left for the ranch. You'd better have a good story ready. The way he talks, maybe he's beginning to think you're the Black Whip.
Thinks I'm the Black Whip?
We think so, too. Fire up. We better clear out of here. Take her to the hideout below Mesa Peak. I'll meet you there after I see the boss. He may want to question her himself. You stay here. Someone may come out to see why she doesn't answer the telephone. Whoever it is, finish him off. We don't want our trail picked up.
All right, mister. Drop that gun.
Where's Miss Meredith?
Try and find out.
The next one will be dead center.
Wait.
All right. Talk fast. Where's Miss Meredith?
Harris took her to the hideout shack below Mesa Peak. The boss thinks she's the Black Whip.
He does, huh? Who's the boss?
I don't know. Honest. Baxter hired me just for this job.
You'd better be ready to talk when Baxter gets here.
If I knew who the Black Whip was, I wouldn't tell you.
Quit stalling. We know you're the whip.
You're mistaken, gentlemen. The Black Whip.
What's going on in there?
The Black Whip got here. He's inside fighting with Mac.
You mean to say the Meredith girl isn't the Black Whip?
No.
What are you figuring to do with that explosive?
I'm going to blow up that shack.
You'd have to get too close. They're apt to drill you. Give me that stuff. You stay here and keep them pinned in the shack. I'll go up on top of that cliff and blast it down on them.
Right.
Thanks, Vic.
How did you know it was me?
I recognized your voice, and I know where the outfit came from. How did you find it?
I was battling the man that left at your place. He fell through the panel, down the steps, and into the cave. Before he died, he told me where you were and that they believed you were the Black Whip. I thought I'd changed their mind.
Lucky for me, you did.
too bad he got away. But at least your story will convince them that you're not the Black Whip. I'd be a lot happier if you let them stay convinced.
I can't do that, Vic. My brother made a legend of the Black Whip. I'm going to carry it on until law and order are established in Idaho.
But it's no job for a girl, Barbara. Let me take it over.
Then only one of us could act against the outlaws. And you have plenty to do as undercover man for the government.
All right. I'll keep your dark secret. At least until Idaho's enemies are beaten.
Harris had the girl a prisoner when the Black Whip showed up.
Well, that proves that she's not the Black Whip. We've got to figure... What is it, Hedges?
There's another wagon train coming into town.
Why weren't they stopped at the border?
The Citizens Patrol drove us off again.
And we'll have to find some way to get rid of that patrol.
Well, that's a big order. They're well armed and well mounted.
That's it. You gave me the answer.
Who? Me?
Mounts, that's the answer. Without horses, there won't be any Citizens Patrol. We're going to take every horse they got. Raid the ranches, steal them, drive them off. Do anything you have to. Start right away.
All right, from now on, they patrol on foot.
It's an outrage. Without the Border Patrol, every wagon train is being turned back.
And that means we're losing settlers who would vote for statehood.
That's all very true. But the patrol can't work without horses.
Say, Barbara, whose horses are those I saw in your corral?
Oh, they belong to Bill Slocum. He was driving them through and rented my corral to let them rest up for a few days.
Maybe we could talk Slocum into selling them. There's enough there to help us over the present crisis.
Hey, that sounds like a good idea.
It looks like the answer to our problems. You'll save the day if you can put that over.
We'll go out and see if Mr. Slocum will agree to it.
We can't let that patrol have those horses. Send a couple of men out to Meredith's ranch and drive them off before that girl and Gordon get there.
I'll send them right away.
There they are in the corral. But we'll have to take care of Slocum first. Give me time to circle around behind him, and then you ride in.
I'm a little worried, Vic. You know, maybe we shouldn't have told the Citizens Committee about the horses.
You mean you don't want the patrol to get them?
Of course I do. But I want to be sure they get them. I've been wondering if maybe somebody on the committee is giving information to the outlaws.
It's possible. It would explain how they anticipate every move we make. Is anybody guarding the horses?
Mr. Slocum, but he's all by himself.
We'd better hurry. You know, Barbara, your suspicion about a leak in the committee must be right. We got here just in time.
But not in time to save Mr. Slocum.
That's too bad. But his horses will help us run down the men responsible for his death.
But there are so few of them, Vic.
But there's a way we might locate the stolen horses. It's a long shot. But this horse has probably been corralled with the stolen stock. If I turn him loose, he may lead me to the outlaw's corral. I'll drive these other horses after him as if I were rustling them.
You undercover men uncover bright ideas. I'll telephone 10 Point and have him tell the marshal that we'll bring the horses in later.
Fine.
Hello? Well, he isn't here, Danley.
Gordon and the girl got here before we could drive off the horses. He killed Flack and grabbed his horse. He's going to turn it loose and trail it.
Well, I'll spike that plan.
You'd better. It'll probably lead him right to our corral in Hidden Valley.
I rounded up a pretty good bunch.
Who are you?
My name's Davis. Baxter hired me. Any of the other boys around?
Yeah. Black's over at the barn.
Thanks. I'll ride over and see you. Your name Black?
Yeah. What do you want?
I'm a new man Baxter put on. Just brought in a dozen head. From what Baxter said, I thought you'd rustle a lot more.
That's just a few of them out in the corral. When we get enough, we take them up the other end of the valley. Thanks. That's one I missed.
I know a trick I'm going to miss if I don't get help on the deal.
What's the play?
A gold shipment can be grabbed.
Why don't you see Baxter?
I only do business with the big boss. I've been dealt out in deals before.
I might take you to the big boy for the right kind of a cut.
We won't have any trouble. But we've got to act quick. Where do we see him?
Crescent City. Let's go.
Stand where you are, Gordon. Take his gun, Black.
So besides recovering the stolen horses, we captured a valuable prisoner.
I'll rest better with that varmint in the calaboose.
He isn't in jail, 10 Point. We've got him locked in the saddle room out at the ranch.
He might escape.
That's what we want.
What?
As soon as we can figure a way that'll make him lead us to his chief. That's the trouble, Barbara. Once we turn him loose, we don't know where he'll go.
He might just ride to some hideout. What we need is a scheme to make the outlaw leader go to wherever you trail Baxter.
That's right. But how do we do it?
Through the Citizens Committee. We're pretty sure he's a member of it or gets his information from one. We'll call a meeting of the committee today, and then you can explain.
Unfortunately, my prisoner got away. I left him in charge of Miss Meredith's horse wrangler, Martin. He double-crossed me and released Baxter.
I hope you brought him to town for trial.
He's dead. He reached for his gun when I accused him, and I had to shoot him.
What about Baxter? Couldn't you pick up his trail?
No. Martin had a note in his pocket written by Baxter, evidently intended for his chief, although it had no address or signature.
Have you got the note?
No. I left it at the ranch, but it was worthless.
Couldn't you remember what it said?
It said, tell the chief I'll meet him at the usual hideout. I know who the Black Whip is.
That's more than any of us know.
It puts the Black Whip's life in danger.
I'll print a warning to him on the front page.
Gordon, on behalf of this committee, I want to thank you for getting back those stolen horses.
I don't deserve any thanks after the way I bungled the Baxter business.
Gordon doesn't know it, but he delivered Baxter's message to the right party.
Yeah. Baxter must be at the lookout mine.
Yes, and he knows the Black Whip's name. I'll leave for the mine right now.
Right.
All right, Baxter. Are you willing to talk to save your neck?
Yeah, I'll talk. I ain't gonna take the rap alone. Get him up, quick.
Where did you get that gun?
A friend of mine tossed it in the window. Keep him up. I reckon this one isn't full of blanks. You think I'd fall for a gag as old as that? Now, you're going with me. Don't try anything or I'll drill you. Get moving. You had it all fixed, didn't you? A horse for me to grab and another one for you to follow me.
Been a good idea if it worked.
You'll wish you'd never thought of it. Get on your horse.
Baxter should have been here a long time ago. Unless the whole thing is a trick of Gordon's. If it is, he must suspect somebody on the committee. That's why he didn't show us that note.
I'll bet there wasn't a note. It's a trap.
Say, I gotta get out of here before anybody sees me. See if it's clear.
Gordon stepped into it himself. Baxter's bringing him in.
Good.
What's going on here?
It's the chief. Gordon cooked up a story about you escaping with important news.
Oh, so that's why he tried to pull that old gun loaded with blanks gag on me. But I was too smart for him.
Now, here's the deal, Gordon. You tell us who the whip is if you want to save your life.
That won't save my life. Ask your dumb friend to take off the mask. I'll talk to him or no one.
All right, you've had your chance.
Save your bullet. Move further back and get them when they come into the tunnel.
Hold it. They move back around the curve. That's a dead-end tunnel. They can't get out.
We can't get at them either.
Oh, yes, we can. Help me get this oil car rolling. Watch the tunnel, Harris.
They fired the tunnel.
Get back.
That finishes them. Come on.
We're in luck. The explosion blew a hole through the top of the tunnel. I suppose we're lucky to be alive. But it's a shame we couldn't have recognized that outlaw leader.
We can still identify him. He'll have a welt across the back of his right hand where I struck him with my whip.
Then if our suspicions about the Citizens Committee are correct, one of its members will have that mark.
That's right. And the sooner we act, the better. Tomorrow is election day, and the committee has charge of counting the votes.
When we get back to town, I'll get the marshal to help me nail our man.
What's the news from Cedar Point?
The voting went about 50-50 for statehood and against it. Our boys voted early and often.
And good enough, but it all depends upon what happens at Crescent City. Most of those settlers are likely to be for statehood. If it goes that way, it means our whole setup is wrecked. Here comes Baxter. He'll have a report on Crescent City. What's the word?
Bad, mighty bad. Ranchers and settlers drifting in and out of town all day, giving the landslide vote for statehood.
We'll have to see that those votes are never counted. Many people left in town?
Only a few late voters.
Good. We're going in there and destroy those ballots. We're riding, men.
Point, will you look for Mr. Gordon and...
Nope, don't have to call him. He's right here. Hey, Miss Barbara wants you, Vic.
Yes, Barbara.
Vic, just before I reached here, I saw Hammond and a bunch of outlaws riding toward town.
We'll get set for them. Now, I want you to do something right away. Ride over to Pine Junction. You'll find 4 government agents there waiting to compare reports with me. Tell them they're needed here at once.
All right.
Help is on the way.
Shooting from the stage office is slacked off.
Yeah, we must have thrown a crimp in them.
Baxter, bunch your men in front of the office, and you break in the back way and get those ballots.
All right.
We'll cover you. Yes, Miss Meredith. So you are the Black Whip, the champion of law and order. Well, this is one score I can settle.
Idaho votes for statehood. Measure approved by narrow margin.
It's worth all we went through to print that.
Yes, ma'am. There's one more sensational story you might publish. The true identity of the Black Whip.
That would be against my editorial policy. But I might print an interview with Vic Gordon, government agent extraordinary.
Oh, let's forget it. Say, the committee is waiting for your layout for the big statehood celebration.
I'll be right with you.
How's your nervous indigestion?
Ain't had none since all the shooting stopped. I'm healthy as a hog and twice as natural.
What are you going to do with all your pills and powders, 10 Point? Start a drugstore?
Nope. Want to throw them away. Every last one of them.
Better save one for a rainy headache.
Won't need it.
Chief Hallapaloosa's panacea.